It is another edition. Welcome, a Monday edition of the Bark Tank presented by Sugardale. My name is Andrew Siciliano from the home office here after the Browns fall 2-0-2. Before we get into the game, and yes, there is a lot to unpack in that game, we thank you in advance for liking and subscribing and sharing this podcast or telling your friends about it. Like, you don't have to do anything digitally. Just tell your friends, your neighbors about it. This is your favorite podcast. Of course it is. It would be better, admittedly, if the Browns had gone into Baltimore and won. They did not, and they are 0-2. And the schedule does not get any easier. You get the well-rested Green Bay Packers coming to town on the 40th anniversary of the Dog Pound celebration weekend. Green Bay well-rested after that, dominant, even though the score wouldn't show you that, Thursday night performance week 2, beating the Commanders. We'll talk to Leroy Butler, gold jacket owning Hall of Famer Leroy Butler, Packer legend, the man who brought us the Lambeau Leap, coming up in a little bit on this edition of the Bark Tank. Let's get to the game. Thought the Browns had a good chance in this one. Obviously, the defense was going to have to stand on its head. And the defense did for maybe 2.5, 3 quarters, really. And then eventually, as Myles Garrett said, and as Nathan Zagura and I said in the booth, the dam broke. Gerard had the same opinion down on the field. The defense can't do it by itself every single week. Myles and that D-line played their tails off. Myles had a sack and a half. He now has 3.5. That is tied going into the Monday night doubleheader. And by the way, who likes a Monday night doubleheader when the games are being played at the same time? No one does. That's just me, my opinion. One man sitting here in the home office. But Myles is now tied for the league lead in sacks with 3.5, tied with, of all people, Harold Landry. Myles leads the NFL in TFLs. Tackles for loss. TFLs, by the way, just as important as sacks. You're tackling the guy with the ball behind the line of scrimmage. It's a negative. He has 6. He led the NFL last year with 22. But the dam eventually broke, even though DeAndre Hopkins was ruled down on the 1, and the Browns turned what looked like a touchdown catch into holding the Ravens to 3 and a Tyler Loop field goal. You can't do that every single time. Mason Graham played a good game. And as we said last week, these kids are going to be great. Carson Swessinger all over the field, although his tackle numbers in the final box score don't necessarily show it. Mason Graham in the backfield a lot, hitting Derrick Henry and making disruptive plays in the run game and chasing the quarterback as well. Malik Collins was chasing the quarterback, almost had that sack. Lamar Jackson escaped and made a play. Those are the things you hang your hat on. Devin Bush had 8 tackles. He had a sack. He is playing, and he said it on Monday when asked point blank, probably the best football of his career, probably the best start to a season in his career for a former Steelers first-round pick. He leads the team with 15 tackles. However, you need a little bit more, obviously, on the other side of the ball. And I've said this for a long time. This is not a 2025 Browns-specific commentary. Anybody will tell you, you are only as good as your weakest link. And that goes for a secondary. That goes for an offensive line, the other side of the ball. And when Denzel Ward goes down, when Greg Newsome has to miss some time as well, and Denzel should be okay. Kevin Stefanski said on Monday, it is only cramps, and he should be good to go. Fingers crossed week 3. But when you already lose MJ Emerson to the season-ending Achilles injury in training camp, and then Denzel has to leave the game. He came back in the third quarter but wasn't able to finish. Then you need everyone else to step up, and that goes for Cam Mitchell. That goes for Miles Harden. That goes for Dom Jones if he gets on the field. And he was up and active after being inactive week number 1. Everybody has to pick up the slack. It is, and here is a cliche alert, it is next man up. But when those guys go down, good quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson are going to pick on their replacements. Like good offensive coordinators, Kevin Stefanski, Tommy Rees in week 1, are going to pick on Logan Wilson's replacement when the Bengals linebacker has to exit briefly with an injury. Oh, by the way, because I believe it was Harold Fannin who ran right through him and lowered a shoulder. So people take advantage of your weaknesses. And that is what happened. Tez Walker catches a couple of touchdown passes. They go deep ball after the Browns shut down the run game. Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, 13 carries and 36 yards. And 11 of those 36 came on one Lamar scramble for 11. You take that out, which you can't, by the way. It did count. 12 for 25 combined carries. Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson. 12 for 25. Much like the Browns did last year when they beat the Ravens Week 8 back at Huntington Bank Field, they contained Derrick Henry. They made him go east-west. Myles Garrett, Mason Graham, Devin Bush, Carson Schlesinger, Grant Delpit in the backfield. They did that job. This was, and this is what's so frustrating, and I know that you listening, you watching felt the same way. This was one of those games, and I said it to Nathan in the booth, one of those games where you say, hey, if I had given you these numbers and said the Browns were on the short end of it, you would have said, no way. But again, it happened. It is not a winning formula to have Joe Flacco lead the league in pass attempts through 2 games. He and Bryce Young each have 90 pass attempts through 2 games. That is tops in the NFL. What are the Browns and the Panthers? Russell Wilson is 86. Throw the Giants in there as well. What do they have in common? Russell Wilson's second. They're all 0-2. The Browns have to run the football better. They know that. And it starts up front. The O-line didn't clear enough space. Now, at times, the run game looked good. You get Joel Bitonio, going old school and pulling out in front of Quinshon Judkins running left, and Quinshon with that stiff arm. That is an angry run candidate. Alert Kyle Brandt with that stiff arm on Marlon Humphrey. Yeah, okay, that works. But there needs to be more holes. Quinshon, encouraging debut. He had 61 yards, 31 of which came on that run in the fourth quarter with Dylan Gabriel in the game. But you see what he can do. His workload is going to increase. Kevin said that on Monday, and there's only good things ahead. Dylan Sampson did not have as much run, playtime that is, as he did the week before. Part of that might be pass pro. He put his face in the fan at one point in the first half, couldn't hold the block. Joe got hit. Any rookie running back, the biggest thing any coach wants to know is, can I trust you on third down? Can I trust you in pass pro? For people screaming for more playtime for both Dylan Sampson and Quinshon Judkins, it will come, but it comes with responsibilities, and that responsibility is protecting the quarterback. Keep in mind that what Dylan Sampson did week 1, he did as a 20-year-old. He turned 21 on Sunday in Baltimore. He is the youngest player in the National Football League. Of all of them, of the 2,000-some players in the league, Dylan Sampson is the youngest. He's the baby, and he's playing great. The Browns have a great 1-2. Well, I hesitate to use the word great. They have the foundation you need. We all should be encouraged of the foundation here on that second and that fourth round pick in the backfield. Harold Fannin, 12 catches. He climbed the ladder. 12 receptions in 2 games. I don't know what more you can ask. The Browns defense, back to that, 30 consecutive games without allowing a 300-yard passer. There's plenty to hang your hat on, and there's the negative as well. Like, you can't be dropping key passes in the first, the second, the third, nor the fourth. But when you're dropping them in the first quarter and you're killing drives, or you're turning what could be third and shorts into third and long, you're not helping your quarterback out. For those who say, change the quarterback. Neither of Joe Flacco's picks week 1 were necessarily his fault. He's not the one dropping passes in the first half. Now, the picks in this one, or the pick and the fumble, yeah, obviously Joe will tell you those are on him. That's a bit different. But Dylan Gabriel, it is encouraging, did look good on his mop-up drive, 3 for 3. Nice layered pass to the end zone for Dylan Sampson, who caught that like a wide receiver, got loose. You know what? Plenty to build on. And this week, another test, a formidable test against a team that is a Super Bowl contender. Now, when I say contender, on the very small list of fan bases that should be going, I'm going to buy a ticket to Santa Clara right now for that first Sunday in February. And this guy knows that. He's a Hall of Famer, which means he has a gold jacket he has like a Packers green jacket because he's a Packers legend, not an Augusta green jacket. He's the man that brought you the Lambeau Leap. It is an honor, a pleasure to have Leroy Butler in the Bark Tank. Good to see you, man.
Oh, it's good to be here, Andrew. Always a pleasure.
Are cut to the chase. Are the Packers the best team in the NFL?
Of course. Who doesn't?
If you weren't a Packer legend, would you say that?
Yes. I
Why?
would. Because, here's why. I was there, Andrew, as some of your listeners know. They may not know Reggie White from back in the day, but I do. When he got there in the 90s, I was there before actually him and Brett. So I saw when the Packers were not very good, okay, then got great. You have to have something impactful to like rejuvenate your locker room. Matt LaFleur's had the youngest team in the league the last 2 years. Now I think it's 3 years, really. But when a Michael Parsons comes in, it elevates everybody's game, as did Reggie. So when I think about the best team, you can look at the stats if you want. I mean, just after 2 games, I know people say it's only 2 games, but we're talking about 2 games. If it was week 10, we'll revisit. But as this going into week 3, they're one of, if not the best team in the league, because they can score, they can run the football, and more than anything, put that to the side, defense wins championships. And that defense has been flying around. And I'm going to tell you something, Andrew. I'll be very honest with you, and I'll be quick. Detroit was a trigger for me. That's the team that I said, if you can't beat Detroit, what's the use when we're talking about Super Bowl? Because they're ready in the North. But not only did they shut down Detroit, they held them Gibbs to like 19, 20 yards. So they're eliminating something that I've said for a long time. If you can't stop the run, it's going to be difficult. So to put it in context, I feel very good about saying, as of going into week 3, they're the best team in the league.
You know what's crazy too, and what Micah allows them to do is they could play zone. Jeff Hafley can sit back there and zone and challenge and just have Micah go eat. They have so many crazy athletes that they've been drafting over the last couple of years on that front 7. And it unlocks all those guys because he can beat a double team. He could beat Penei Sewell. He could beat whomever. He could be a one-man wrecking crew. And you could play zone. You could mix up your coverages. You have so many different ways to win, Leroy.
Yes. Yeah, it opens up the playbook. Because you think about it, that, when Jair Alexander left, who's going to be that guy? Keith Nixon, number 25. Last year, I think he had 7 pass breakups and an interception. Last week, he had 5 pass breakups, and a couple of them was on 4th down. He was our all-pro return guy, and he played in the slot. Well, he's on a national thing now. I mean, because you got Judy.
He was a special teams guy for the most part.
Right, for the most part, yes. So, but here's a guy that we didn't know he can play corner, like America, when they see these games, because they played 2 games on national TV. So I understand people may not buy into it because they're not used to hearing these names, but Rashad Gary was a first-round pick. The guy's playing out of his mind. Wyatt was a top pick. All of the top picks were on defense. And I would tell you, so I tell everybody, one of my favorite players is number 56, Cooper. We were talking about A.J. Hawk off air a few minutes ago. When you have a middle linebacker, one of my favorites is Luke Kuechly. Number 56 remind me of Luke Kuechly. Sideline to sideline. They said, well, where did you get him from? What? They got him in the 2nd round. So they were building for these guys on defense. And then, oh, yes, not to mention your quarterback's 26, Michael Parsons 26, and they have a kicker now that can make kicks. So they just have a good formula. And back to defense real quick. I remember playing Philadelphia, and they said just keep Jalen Hurts in the pocket. Don't even rush him when they were in Brazil. Hafley's not doing that. He brought everybody against Jalen Daniels. And so they're going to mix it up. Now, Flacco is not a guy that you think can scramble. You want to get him off his spot. But each week is different.
Sure. And last week in Baltimore, or when we're recording this on a Monday in Baltimore, when Flacco had to move out of the pocket, he was able to scramble for one first down, draw a flag that eventually got picked up. But for the most part, out of the pocket, that's where his pick happened as well. That's when bad things happen. He's not the most mobile guy. But against Jaden Daniels, they were able to contain him, get after him, bang him up. And now his status for week 3 is very much in doubt. And it's because of all those athletes they have on defense. Edgerrin Cooper, notably there as well. That middle linebacker you said, who's in his second season, and a guy that Micah said when he first got there that he actually drafted Edgerrin Cooper in his individual player fantasy team. Yes, there are fantasy leagues in which you can draft defensive players. Yes. You can do that. And that speaks to how much he has developed now into year number 2. And you know what, Leroy, and by the way, follow Leroy on the Instagram. I got to look down here. It's Leap3636. It's 2 36s on the IG. Jordan Love has developed as well, Leroy, and it is a testament to the theory, and we see it in Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes as well. Jaden Daniels is the opposite of it. He played from day one. That if you let a young quarterback develop, sometimes standing there and watching actually pays dividends. But this guy that we're seeing, Leroy, is so much better, so much more accurate than the Jordan Love we saw when he first was handed the ball. Why? I mean, it used to be you never saw quarterbacks actually improve their accuracy as much as we see guys do now.
That's a great question. Could you think about it? Because I think about myself as well. I think I was a certified scrub until I got married. When I got married, oh man, all Pro Bowl. Everybody knew who I was. I had my own T-shirt. Oh, it's great. Jordan Love just got married.
So that's it?
Yes.
Okay.
You get married into your 3rd year. Because see, when you go home, your family, hey, they want to know how you play with no filter. Hey, you represent us on the back of this jersey. So I need you to go out there and play. So his wife, Veronica, is in his life now. But to be serious about it, it's the offense and the control. For the last 23 years or so, we've never drafted a wide receiver first round. We got Matthew Golden, a guy that runs 4.2, and Jordan missed him twice. He's open. They're going to throw deep. I'm so excited. This is the first time, because Christian Watson is our guy. When he's out there, we always go deep. He's our Randy Moss of our team. But we went out and got a guy that runs pass coverages all the time. I mean, but Ward is a very capable corner. I don't know where they'll put him, but I'm just saying, once I saw that and they were throwing, and when they were back, they put together 2 drives over 90-some yards for touchdowns. In the past, it would always, they'd be driving and it'd be something happen. A fumble, a holding, interception. You don't see that anymore. So I think Matt LaFleur's got a little bit more aggressive in his calling. And part of when you have a quarterback that's been there for 6 years, as you stated, because he sat behind Aaron Rodgers for 3 years and he just learned and just understand this is his team. But he's the kind of leader that likes to speak by chemistry and opportunities. Right now, it's a receiver group by committee. I think they like it like that, Andrew. They don't have to have one guy get 17 targets. Now, sooner or later, somebody will bust out. But now that guy, our intimidating factor is our tight end, Tucker Kraft. By the way, I love him because I went to the podium and selected him. So it's almost like he's my nephew. So I have some Andy on my fantasy team too, but put that to the side.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I mean, there's that angle too. Not only was I called up there, and hey, I got to read his name, but he's also on my fantasy team. Let's just cut. Let's tell the truth here. Leroy, I got 2 things for you. I wasn't going to ask Aaron Rodgers, but you mentioned Aaron Rodgers. We saw, 1-1. I'm sure Aaron wants to tell everyone in Pittsburgh, RELAX. He all but did that on the podium Sunday after they lost to the Seahawks. But we saw for the first time, and it was inevitable, that angry Aaron when he was ticked off at Calvin Austin for getting in the way of a ball that he was trying to thread to the back of the end zone into Pat Freiermuth's hands, and it ended up getting picked. That was inevitable. Do you think we see more of that with Aaron Rodgers and this new group in Pittsburgh?
I think it's baked in the cake how people are.
It's who he is.
Yeah, just who you are as a person. I expect a lot from these guys. I want them to be where I want them to be. Now, you could say that's chemistry. And I also want to congratulate him on tying Brett Favre's touchdown total. But when you beat the Jets, speaking of going to the podium, and you celebrate that, then you lose to Seattle, then people are going to say that's front runner type stuff. But if you're going to give him the keys to the offense, the receivers got to get on his page and you'll get the ball. Every quarterback's like that, though. But not so much calling your guy out at the podium. You should never do that. Let the media figure out who did something. But to say anything about your teammate, Andrew, that could be a head scratcher. Because when you throw an interception, because it's going to happen.
Sure.
Or a pick six, that same guy's going to be like, well, what happened in that play? But when you a Hall of Famer, don't question me. So,
can't wait for the Brett Favre Packers reunion a little bit later this year as well.
Oh yeah, that's one of many we have circled.
And last thing here for you, for those who don't know, let's teach some people some history here. Leroy Butler is the man behind the Lambeau Leap. 1993, he jumped into the stands at Lambeau, and a tradition truly unlike any other was born. We have this week, actually, the 40th anniversary of the Dog Pound at Huntington Bank Field. Big celebrations all throughout the weekend. The 85 team is getting back together. Leroy, did you? I don't think you did. You never had a chance to jump into the stands in Cleveland, right?
No.
Okay, would you jump into the Dog Pound?
No.
Leroy Butler.
No. You got to read the room. And that's not a room I'm entering. No. And I would suggest our players, when we score, if we can avoid Myles Garrett, which will be hard, don't do that. No. And we respect tradition, and our guys openly will not be doing the leap in that stadium. We respect them way too much for that.
Jamar Chase, before week one, said he's not going to jump in there because he hears people get stabbed in there. He was laughing when he said it, and he
Allegedly.
said, I'm joking. Yes.
Yeah.
And the Browns kept him out of the end zone, and they shut down Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Joe Burrow, for that matter, but were unable to get the win and shut down Derrick Henry this past week and could not get the win. Maybe they get one against Leroy Butler's undefeated Packers. For our money right now, the best team in the NFL. It is the Leap 36 podcast. Check it out and follow Leroy on the Instagram 3636. It's Leap 3636. It's always great to talk to you, sir. Best of luck to you with everything that you are doing, and hope our paths cross sometime again soon.
Thank you so much. I will give a shout out to Gabe, your producer. He's amazing for setting this up and working with me. So anytime, just call me.
I love that guy. Few have the energy like Leroy Butler. Pretty much unmatched. The man invented the Lambeau Leap. For Pete's sake, he deserves a gold jacket, or like a green jacket. Not an Augusta green jacket, but like Packer green and gold, whatever. Just for that. All right, let's look around the AFC North. What's sizzling? Presented by Sugardale. Bad news out in Cincinnati. Yes, the Bengals are 2-0. They survive and they beat the Jaguars. However, they're going to be without Joe Burrow for maybe 3 months. Zach Taylor confirmed on Monday, the Bengals head coach, that Burrow needs surgery on a turf toe injury. He said no timeline, but the insiders, those whose job it is to speculate and report these things, say it's a 3-month injury, which would put Burrow back into play potentially if the Bengals are still in it. And you'd have to think that would factor in the decision to put him back on the field in late December, mid to late December for Joe Burrow. Jake Browning helped them win the game, had that touchdown leap that fourth down leap into the end zone to win the game and beat the Jaguars, and they're going to roll with him like they did at the end of the 2023 season. Could they go out and trade for a quarterback? Maybe, but I don't know that you're going to find many options better than Jake Browning. Meantime, in Pittsburgh, the Steelers lose and go to 1-1. They fall at home to the Seahawks. And Aaron Rodgers gets picked in the end zone, not the pivotal play. The pivotal play was actually JSN, the Buckeye Jackson Smith and Jigba getting deep and beating Jalen Ramsey. There is your dagger, to quote voice of the Packers, Wayne Larrivee. And it really wasn't all Aaron Rodgers' fault, but he threw a pick in the end zone. And for the first time as a Steeler, we saw angry face Aaron Rodgers, angry at Calvin Austin, because Calvin Austin was someplace he should not have been. Scramble drill, Aaron going to his left. He tried to throw it back across his body to Pat Freiermuth, and that ball might have gotten to Freiermuth in the back of the end zone, but Calvin Austin got his hands on it, and it got picked, and Aaron was angry. Aaron was angry. And that is what Aaron Rodgers sizzling mad around the NFL. And the AFC North specifically there, presented by Sugardale. I am looking forward to this Packers game coming up. I'm looking forward to week 2, or the second home game at Huntington Bank Field. I am looking forward to the Dog Pound 40th anniversary celebration. So the weather should be great. We'll see you out there. Every week is a new week. Browns, Packers, week 3 on the lakefront. Remember, like, subscribe, share, tell your friends and your neighbors about the Bark Tank presented by Sugardale. Until next week, hopefully a winning Monday when next we speak, my name is Andrew Siciliano. So long, everybody.